At this defining moment, change has come to America.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
Nothing less than a new world order. This is the pledge of the world's most powerful leaders, representing 90% of the global economy. Thursday's G20 summit, they say, has changed the rules of the game. A total of $5 trillion for the global economy by the end of next year, including $1 trillion for the International Monetary Fund. Staggering figures that the 20 countries, along with international institutions, agreed upon to combat the crisis.
The time has come for the world to move in a new direction. We must embrace a new era of engagement based on mutual interest and mutual respect. And our work must begin now.
And the president outlined his vision of a new world order in which the U.S. would participate fully, one rooted on 4 basic principles.
Non-proliferation and disarmament, the promotion of peace and security, the preservation of our planet, and a global economy that advances opportunity for all people.
Among the speakers that followed the U.S. president, the leader of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, speaking at the UN for the first time after 40 years in power. And waiving the UN Charter, he called for an end to any permanent membership of the Security Council, arguing that small nations should have the same rights as the big.
Is this what President Obama means by paying our fair share?
This is my last election for you. Yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility.
Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and Stanford.
Welcome to the 2012 Nuclear Summit. Now, who didn't come to the anti-nuclear party? Iran didn't come. North Korea didn't come. And Obama officials said they didn't care.
I believe this contact will ultimately do more to empower the Cuban people. We're significantly increasing the amount of money that can be sent to Cuba, and we will continue to shine a light of freedom.
It's now more than 50 years since President Kennedy stood before the American people and said, "Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate." The United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not. A comprehensive long-term deal with Iran that will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
The agreement, as bad as it is predicated on these crazy mullahs actually abiding by it.
And the inspection and transparency regime necessary to verify that objective will be put in place.
We're allowing them the right to sample their own site and then bring the evidence to the UN.
So I will veto any legislation that prevents the successful implementation of this deal.
And don't forget, we're paying them $150 billion to do all of this.
People voted for Obama on the basis of what they hoped he would do.
People would ask me, do you wish like you had a third term? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man, and they had an earpiece in and I was just in my basement in my sweats, then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
Hey, you guys remember Barack Obama? I was his vice president. I'm Joe Biden,
Joseph Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
You do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republican
Party
will be reorganized into the first
Democratic
empire for a safe and secure society.
There's a timeless moral that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. We have to safeguard democracy. That threat is always there.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Do I trust the Taliban? No. But I trust the capacity of the Afghan military, who is better trained, better equipped, and more competent in terms of conducting war. I stand squarely behind my decision. After 20 years, I've learned the hard way that there was never a good time to withdraw U.S. forces.
And America's national debt just hit a huge milestone, passing $30 trillion for the first time ever.
Russia will be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, etc. But if they actually do what they're capable of doing with the force amassed on the border, it is going to be a disaster for Russia if they further invade Ukraine, and that our allies and partners are ready to impose severe cost and significant harm on Russia and the Russian economy.
In the event that there is a renewed Russian incursion, Russian forces going into Ukraine, there is going to be a swift, a severe, and united response.
President Biden under pressure at home and abroad to do more and fast.
You said that Russia would be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does. Are you saying that a minor incursion by Russia into Ukrainian territory would not lead to the sanctions that you have threatened, or are you effectively giving Putin permission to make a small incursion into the country?
Good question. That's how it did sound like, didn't it?